I never seem to finish all my food. I always get a doggy bag from the waiter, so I just keep what's still unchewed, and I take it home, save it for later, but then I deal with fungal rot bacteria formation.
This is it. This is the very first podcast, the very first episode of Dorks and Forks.
That's right, Brian.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited the moment's finally here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah.
I could hear everybody.
Sound good?
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool that this is actually happening.
I think my nipples are hard.
Yeah, I know something on me's hard. Well, let's try to keep this PG. 13.
Hey, now.
PG. Something, you know. So what's going on, guys? Let me introduce myself. I am Brian Wild of dorksandforks.com and host of Dorks and Forks. Straight ahead of me, here at the Van Buren Street Studios, which is also my dining room, is Mr. Dan Sanchez. Mr. Dan Sanchez.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
Yeah.
Very excited to get this started here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. And to the left of me, Mr. Steve Valerio, the Duke of Cosplay, Philadelphia's own Duke of Cosplay.
I'm not a duke, but thank you.
I thought.
Me.
Well, you know, I wanted to call you the King of Cosplay.
I know you did, but see, I have friends who would contest that. I know people who should probably be the actual King of Cosplay. Wow. Were there one?
Wow. Those are good people to know.
So that's why we changed it to make you the Duke. To quote Tenacious D, the kick-ass Duke. The Duke.
The Duke.
The kick-ass Duke of Cosplay.
The title is thrust upon me, but like Caesar, I will take it.
There you go.
Okay, fair
Gentleman
enough.
and a scholar.
Let's just tell people what the food is today.
The
food
food is delicious.
Remember, we are a
show's about.
food show.
It's delicious. That's what it is.
Thank you very
Dorks
much.
and Forks, we're talking about geek culture and, of course, food and our love for it.
Yeah.
So we made some snacks today.
Yeah, I think we tried to come up with like a concept of what are we going to showcase, what kind of food, and I was getting all pumped up for some Eagles football, and I was like, hey, let's say you go to somebody's house for a little Sunday football soiree, you know, even though I'm sure a lot of people
Don't call it that.
Calling it soirees.
Let's have a soiree with football kids.
Yeah, this will be great.
Bring your hors
So
d'oeuvres.
it's kind of like what food would you bring? What beer should you bring?
Right.
So Dan and I whipped up a couple homemade treats. You know, something that we like to cook and we like to prepare. Dan made a delicious guacamole, homemade guacamole. Nice spinach.
Brian, what is up with that crack in the wall behind you?
Uh-oh.
I don't
Is
think
there
it's
a crack in the universe.
I think maybe.
Amelia Pond.
Ever since I was a child, it called to me. I would finger the crack along the wall.
Whoa, hey.
I've been fingering the
crack.
crack since I was a child too.
Jeez. All right, so we made a couple snacks in honor of
which
of these
I
things.
just want to say, you know, we are a food show, so these recipes we're actually going to put up online.
That's right.
And
that's right.
and it's definitely something that you can do at home, something kind of easy, takes not too expensive, and that's a sure hit.
That's right. So we got guacamole, we got spinach dip, and Brian made some delicious
Irish nachos.
Irish
Potato Irish
Piping
nachos.
hot.
So everything you
Fresh
put on
out of the oven.
nachos, yeah, plus
See,
some extra
Irish
goodness
nachos.
on
Yeah.
fries.
I mean, they're so hot. I mean, this
They're
house
delicious.
is on. It's so hot in here. It's because of those nachos.
That's right.
Melty,
But they're really
oozy
good.
cheese.
But here's my thing, and aren't potatoes not native to Ireland?
No, wait.
Well, wait a minute.
The potatoes famine. I don't know.
No, it's of
I
course.
thought-
No. This is the problem. This is the problem with
All right,
the
let's hear it.
American. I mean, the great Irish famine potatoes, is that they only planted one type of potato. There wasn't a diversity of crops, so when bacteria moved
when
in.
did they plant it there though? That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure the potato was in. I've just always been curious how Ireland got so famous for its potatoes, since it's actually a non-native species.
I thought it was Idaho, who was famous for potatoes.
No, that's Mormons.
Well, it's both.
That's
It's both.
goodness.
No,
gracious.
Utah.
Utah. Okay,
Utah's
whatever.
the Mormon.
Anyway,
So, yeah, let's talk about these nachos.
so yeah,
Nachos.
Brian made
Mormon
these delicious
nachos.
Irish
Yeah, so-
nachos. There's some goodness on there. Brian, tell me about what you have on here. We have bacon, which I know is one of my favorite things.
So you start off with some French fries. All right, those French fries.
Yeah,
you
tell
know,
me slow.
You kind of do it like real nice and hot in the oven. Now you can either do homemade.
I wanted you to keep going.
You can either do homemade French fries or store bought. I like steak cut store bought because really, who has time, to sit there and make homemade, French fries. So we do
It's
that.
not
we saute
that
it.
hard.
Yeah.
but yeah,
not.
I get what you're saying.
You can
know
get
what
a
I do?
chopper too. Just
Oh.
cuts the potatoes. Right?
Okay. Well, I didn't have time today to do it.
Wait. Let's just do this right. Hold on. If we're gonna talk about these potatoes the right way, I mean, I want to set the mood.
Yeah.
I want to make it happen right. And
Are we talking about the Irish potatoes?
I mean, we're talking about the Irish, but I think we're actually talking about the black Irish potatoes.
Black Irish potatoes.
We got some. Maybe Barry White can help us out a little bit.
Nice. Sexy potatoes, baby. Oh, yeah. Talking about melted cheese.
That's some food porn, baby.
What else on these potatoes? Some meat.
Some bacon. A little bit of cube chicken, baby.
And the only thing to make it better is some jalapeno peppers.
Tomatoes. Can and bacon, too. I got
Some
nowhere.
thick cut bacon, baby.
Candy Irish nachos, babe. All right. Anyway.
Yeah. But it's a two cheese
that
kind of
was
thing
cute.
too. We've got some nice Dubliner cheese. One's a nice kind of Gouda style, and the other is a Guinness cheddar.
Yeah, the stout cheddar. You showed me that earlier when we
Yeah.
were preparing all this, and I was like, "That's yes, please. I want.
That's really nice.
I want lots
Yeah.
of that." So.
Yeah, but all that information will be online in recipe form.
all the recipes,
and,
yeah.
and photo form, and you can kind of see what it's about. And
So we'll
try
be
it out.
snacking on this the entire show as well as drinking some wonderful Yards Philadelphia Pale Ale.
Yeah, the good thing about this Yards Pale Ale, besides just being awesome, right?
Everything is awesome.
It's about 4.2% ABV. So the perfect thing to do is
It's a very drinkable.
yeah, it's a
not
craft
getting
beer,
trashed.
but it's not like coming in at like 9%. You know, you're not
Right.
going to be trashed by halftime.
Right.
You know, it's a session beer. It's you just kind of drink it the whole game and not get too drunk and really enjoy beer.
And I gotta tell you what, I'm not necessarily a pale ale guy, whether it's India, Philadelphia, or anywhere else. But this is very smooth. It's very,
Yeah.
and it has kind of a. This is gonna say, Brian's gonna bust my chops for saying
What?
this. It has a very nutty finish.
Nutty. Very nutty.
Nutty.
I don't know about nutty. It's
What's
not-
kinda-
I mean, it's
you know, what's
definitely
what's
got
good
that-
about
that-
this, it's-
that hoppy steam. You know.
Yeah, but it's light. If you ever
Right. Oh, yeah,
pour
absolutely.
it into
Oh,
a
yeah.
glass, it looks like like a Stella Artois or something. You know, as you pour it. Where if you put it up against like Twin Lakes Pale Ale, I mean
Right.
that is like this unfiltered, hazy, orange pale ale. You know, it's just anyway.
I don't know. I'd bring it to a football game. Seems like more of a summer beer to me.
Summer beer. Well, pale ales lend themselves to summer food like seafood and spice.
Just fresher flavors,
Yeah, spice, dude.
like the
just
guacamole.
More of a
cilantro there.
bases ball
heat. Yeah.
kind of drink.
And Dan, how'd you make your guac?
With my own hands. No, 5 simple ingredients with the guacamole. Like I said, it's chunky, just the way
It's chunky.
guacamole
Just the way
should
you like
be.
it.
So just avocados, cilantro,
Okay.
a half a red onion, a lime
Nice.
juice. So you use the lime juice, not that you're not putting the whole
Don't
lime in
chop
there,
it up.
weirdos.
Seeds. Put seeds in
No
everything.
seeds, just the juice, a juice of one lime,
Oh, that sounds good.
and salt.
Yeah.
Mix it all up and put it together, and you got yourself some guacamole there, son.
That sounds great.
So, it's very fresh. The cilantro and the lime, of course, had those fresher, ingredients and flavor. So, breaking news here on at 9:20 in the evening when we're recording this on August 14th. Because we're Dorks and Forks, I'm going to break this news. Is Star Trek's Arlene Martell, who played Spock's fiance
Don't tell me number 3.
in the Star Trek series, has passed away.
Oh, number 3.
So I think there was another one in that
Why
3
couldn't
of
it have
Lauren
been Winona
Bacall
Ryder?
and Robin Williams, and it's. I killed Heath Ledger.
Did you?
Did you?
Yeah, it's a true story. I killed Heath Ledger.
In the jousting ring?
I love that movie. I have a really strange affection for the movie A Knight's Tale.
It's not as bad as
You
it
know, I
should.
think I heard you killed Heath Ledger. And then you had that.
Right. So anywho, we went around like, all right, who's gonna die next? That the whole like death poll told in the office, like who's the next person to die? Is it the Queen Mother? Is it the Pope? Blah, blah, blah. And people were taking all those
Sherman
obvious ones.
Hemsley.
Sure. Well, he's since passed,
He
of course.
has, yes.
He Shim. Because he's gay. and he was gay.
Okay.
Sherman Hemsley?
Very. Loved the penis.
I'll be damned.
True story. So anyway,
for him.
everybody say, the Queen Mother, and this person's going to die, and this, and I went completely joking. Heath Ledger. 20 minutes later.
Oh, no.
I'm sitting at my desk.
So it
didn't
is
happen.
your fault then.
It pops up. Heath Ledger found dead. Blah, blah. I was like, I just killed an acting icon of our generation.
Well done.
You know?
Well done.
I do what I can. So welcome to Dorks
let me
and
ask you
Forks.
this, though. Let me just...
What?
Who replaced him, though? So,
In terms of...
What do you mean?
It's like a doubt, but then we get... Okay, in Heath Ledger's absence...
Right.
Okay, I was thinking about this today at work.
Sure. Who's the newest...
form of him? Who's the poor man's... Like...
Well, it's his co-star from 10 Things I Hate About You, Mr. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah. Because of Heath Ledger's death,
And I
we
like
are
him better. He's
we
more
are
consistent.
stuck.
I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan. Wait. You can say
With
stuff.
Nightwing.
Whatever. I'm a big fan. I'm a big
I'm
fan
happy with
of
him as
his project online, Hit Record.
I'm not aware.
I think we are recording.
No. His project is an amazing community-based project to make art and to be creative. And he's calling people voiceover artists, visual artists, computer animators, poets, the whole 9 yards. And it's this whole pool of community getting together to create art and make things happen. Tell stories, the whole 9 yards. And he has a show right now on a network. It's called Hit Record, and they show these things that they've created in this community online, and it's a really cool interaction that he does. So I have to give him props for that project for sure.
There you go. And Don John, of course, is a symbol.
Hey, it was the return of Tony Danza.
It was.
No, look,
which I
anything
did
else.
actually rather enjoy.
We're getting off topic.
No.
There's a topic.
Yeah, there's... we do have some bulleted points. But who else has replaced people like that? John Candy. When John Candy died.
Well, and then it was Chris Farley.
Chris Farley.
Of course.
Chris Farley.
Well, you have what's her face?
You've got the chick from
Bridesmaids.
Dude, I was going right there.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I can see that.
She made that horrible movie Tammy with one of my older woman fantasies, Susan Sarandon.
So it's
She's a
because
Rocky
of
Horror
John
Picture
Candy's
Sin.
death.
Oh my god.
We are stuck with the chick from Mike and Molly.
But she has a physical comedy. I don't.
For a while
look,
there,
Tammy
it
was
looked
a bad
like it
movie.
was going to go to Jonah Hill.
Yeah, but you know what? He lost the weight.
And then put it back on.
That's why I said
because
for a
everybody
while.
said, "Oh, we liked it better fat."
Yeah, but still, I think at this point he's not going to go Chris Farley.
No.
Or
In
that
more
chick
ways
is-
than one.
but
He's not going to
Molly-
go the way of Chris.
But
Farley.
Molly is
yes.
River Phoenix.
Oh. Who replaced River Phoenix?
A
That's what-
hair-lipped
Joaquin.
reminder.
His
Joaquin
brother.
Phoenix.
The shadow
Did
of the
he
beast.
really replace him though?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, they die. Who steps up? So now.
Well, I
Robert-
mean, God forbid if we were ever actually really stuck with Frank Stallone. Thank God that's not a truth.
Yeah. So Robin Williams, who's going to step up as the next comedic role?
Me.
That we're stuck.
No, I could never.
that we're stuck with because
Nobody
of the
can.
death of,
We're- no, here's the
of
thing.
a greatness.
There was Jonathan Winters.
Well, and
But
that's
even
who his
that-
idol was, and
Right,
that's who
oh, no,
played his
yeah,
son on Mork and
absolutely,
Mindy
absolutely,
too.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Jonathan Winters, and they had that same ability, and Robin mimicked that ability that Jonathan had to take any inanimate object and make it funny.
Yeah.
Within moments of seeing it,
But I don't think there's anybody else who can do it. I don't think there's
Really?
anybody.
No, they
who's
can't.
gonna-
That proves my point.
No,
like,
I mean,
the
like
degrading of.
and
Yeah, but I'm
comedy.
saying I don't think that there's even going to be like a degraded version. I think we're
that's
done.
it. You'll never see
There's
anybody
just a
else.
loss.
You
Yeah,
ain't
I
never
mean,
had a
the-
friend like
I
me.
don't-
There may be another genius who comes up down
Yeah.
the line, and it's going to be another one of those like
Stifler.
brief stars.
Stop it.
When we return.
I have some just fun food news to talk about.
Yeah.
See what's going on in the world of pop culture and food.
Yeah, and the Delaware Cannabis Bureau, the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware,
That's right.
will be joining us.
That's right. And
Can't
then
wait.
later on, we'll see Joe Trainor and Kerry Christine as our musical guests.
Yeah.
Didn't you just talk about the food news before we did this?
Well, we're gonna get there, Steve. It's okay. Breathe.
Okay.
Breathe.
And welcome back to Dorks and Forks. I'm Brian Wild.
And I'm Dan Sanchez. And Steve's still here.
I'm
with
still
us.
here.
Steve's
I'm sorry. I thought we were
No,
going
you're
to
the-
edit this around, but apparently
Yeah,
no, we're
whatever.
doing it in
You're
order.
still-
Okay,
Wait a
well, that's
minute.
cool.
Yeah.
No worries.
That makes everything we said before the break actually make sense.
Hey, Steve, do you mind hanging out with us and
there we
be
go.
in third chair and hanging out with everybody?
Do I get to move down the chair like Carson? I
Just
get to
like
move down the
Carson.
couch?
The
Just like
old
Carson.
McMahon style.
Hey, man, this is the
I
pilot
love
episode.
it.
We're figuring it all out.
Great. Yeah, I'll scoot down the couch.
So anyway, we're here with the Delaware.
I get
Cannabis-
$100 every time I mention the Nerdist.
The Cannabis Bureau of Delaware.
What am I saying?
You're saying it backwards. You're saying the Delaware. I mean, not that they're not the same thing, but that's not what you're called officially. You are the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware.
Come on, Zoe, straighten me out.
Yes, it's the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware.
And what exactly? and what? So tell me about this Cannabis Bureau of Delaware. Like, what was it? Why was it formed?
Well, we're a nonprofit grassroots organization here in Delaware. We came out of Delaware Normal. Delaware Normal was established back in January of 2013, and it's a 501c3 which focuses on mostly education. And through working with them, I realized that we needed something that focused more on the legislative aspect. So I helped create the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware, and we focus on basically advocating for education, research, and scientific-based policy for cannabis and cannabinoids on a local, state, and federal level.
I'm sorry, cannabinoids?
What, isn't that a great
Yes.
word? Cannabinoids. It's like
What is
phenomena.
that?
Cannabinoids. I love that word. Cannabinoids.
Hey, I thought it was cannabis.
Cannabinoids.
Cannabis. I mean, you can put the emphasis on whatever syllable you want.
True.
The really the most exciting thing about cannabis is understanding all of the different cannabinoids.
Right, because there's different cannabinoids do different things.
Correct.
So, like, Joel, give me a for instance here.
Well, you can get some that help appetite, which is probably one that most people are familiar with.
Good for cancer patients that are having problem with nausea and they don't want to eat, they're afraid to eat.
Exactly.
Something,
Some are good for energy, some are good for laying you out,
Right?
And
sometimes people need that. Different people having different ailments need these
Exactly.
different types of medicines to
and
help
it's
make
being
things happen.
it's being researched. What's the medical company out in California called that we have the chart for with all the different?
You're talking about Steve Hill-Halent Research Labs? Yeah.
Those guys.
Steve Hill-Halent, Steve Hill was the first laboratories out in California with the testing. So, when you're talking about a regulated system, that cannabis is tested for
Really?
pesticides or... Should I keep it?
No, you're doing great. So keep
Okay.
going. If somebody just doesn't know how to turn off their ringer, Brian Wild.
For pesticides or, molds or other contaminants in the cannabis, as well as the cannabinoids. And so it's really cool. Like, through that, they're doing a ton of research for us and, isolating the different cannabinoids and seeing what they're used, best for.
Right.
And you can go to their website.
Which is?
I believe it's steephill.com or steephillhalent.com.
Google Steep Hill.
Sorry.
And you'll probably find what you're looking for.
They have a lot of good information, though.
And actually, our name, the CB Delaware, it's CBD. It's named for a cannabinoid. It's probably one of the most important, right? You want to tell them what that does?
Well, I think they're all pretty important. I think a whole plant is very important. It's a non-toxic, all-natural plant. But, the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware, if you take it, the acronym,
stuff.
I know, sorry about that, breaking your plates. If you take the acronym, it's actually CBD, which is a cannabinoid, cannabidiol. So, and it's what's associated with reducing seizures. It's an antispasmodic, as well as an anti-anxiety. I believe it's an anti-convulsion. There's a lot of different things surrounding CBD. It's one of the most important, I guess, like he was saying, next to with THC, or one of the.
But what would the benefit be for Delaware of legalizing and decriminalizing the use of marijuana, whether it's medicinal or recreational? Zoe?
Yeah. Look to Colorado right now. Colorado legalized back in 2013 to open up their regulatory system in the beginning of this year, and they're already $10 million, with just their tax revenue. They created a plethora of jobs, which taxes were also paid on, and all that money goes back into the community, stimulates the economy. People have money to go out and do things, as well as the fact that their crime actually is... their homicides down 52%. their property crime is down 11%, and their violent crime is down 5%, and their teen use is down 2%. That's the new study that just came out.
It's actually their teen use is close to like an all-time low.
Well, I mean, that's one of those things. I think that's in any culture. You know, if you're a teenager and you're in those formidable years, as it were.
Oh, you want to rebel.
Anything that's you're not supposed to do.
That counterculture
Yeah,
side,
exactly.
yeah.
I have to do it. Oh, I'm not allowed to do that. Oh man, I'm gonna smoke some pot and piss mom and dad off. Like just because it's illegal. Yeah.
Mom
that's
found
true.
some seeds in the washing machine.
And where do they have to go to get it? You know what I mean? It's one of those things like, I think
From their uncle.
Right.
From their aunt.
Uncle Jimmy.
it's the gateway drug myth. It's
and
like
that's another.
if there's anything.
A lot of other issues, I think, on a per person basis.
Because once people, you can't overdose on pot.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
Just go to sleep.
I've tried.
Yeah. Trust me.
Just want to go to sleep.
Once you've experienced that and you don't have like this reefer madness sort of
Exactly.
like stigma around it,
Yeah.
and you have to go to a drug dealer to go
Right.
get it,
You have
then
to
you might be
be-
exposed to all
Yeah, good point. I mean, that's a very good point. And I feel like, unlike prescription drugs, the human body just responds better to cannabis and THC. Why is that?
I don't know if a lot of people understand, but we have an endocannabinoid system in our body, and it's kind of like any other system in our body, like the reproductive system or
Nervous system.
Yeah, nervous system, exactly, yeah. So the endocannabinoid system is actually cannabinoids, if you take the word endo meaning in and cannabinoids. So it's actually cannabinoids in our body. They're natural cannabinoids, and it's like a protein lipid system. And so when we put in phytocannabinoids, because phytocannabinoids come from the plant, from the cannabis plant, it works as a regulatory system.
In other words, your body is already genetically predisposed to accept
Absolutely.
this thing that nature has given us.
Yes, that's
It's
why you
made
can't.
for us.
So,
Yeah.
what's the next step? I know there was Bill 371 before the General Assembly. There was write-ups in the newspaper and everything. Whatever happened to that?
House Bill 371, actually a substitute bill was passed through the Public Safety Committee in the Delaware House of Representatives about 2 weeks before the session ended. And then, unfortunately, the Speaker of the House decided not to put it on the agenda, despite a lot of phone calls made in to try to get that put on the agenda. But, so in response to their inaction, we put out a petition for a full tax and regulation of cannabis. In fact, we don't really support decriminalization anyway. The original bill that was out for House Bill 371 was a great bill. It was kind of like more of a legalization without the dispensaries, and of course, we would have pushed for that regulatory system. But then it was substituted with a very, very bad bill that wanted $250 fines. For personal use, it took out the language up to an ounce and replaced it with personal use, leaving it discretionary on the officers and the court system. And that's kind of scary because...
that's real scary, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you claiming that our officers of the law do not have good discretionary?
Of course not. We would never.
Abilities?
No, I wouldn't. As many problems. The thing about cannabis is the most dangerous thing for the majority of cannabis users is going to be getting caught with it.
Sure.
Right? It's
Right,
the
yeah,
punishment. It's
absolutely.
something.
Absolutely.
It's something going on your record that's going to follow you around. It's going to.
Well, I certainly learned a lot. Joey, Zoe, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us today, and possibly just educating people that listen to this.
Contribute to the cause. We're going to find you online in a few different places, right? Joel, what do you got there?
Well, we've got a Facebook page, which is CB Delaware.
CB Delaware.
Yeah, you
Cannabis
can.
Bureau of Delaware.
You can do a friend's request for CB Delaware, and the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware is a group, right? So
And
you can like that one.
page. Okay.
Yes, we're also doing outreach. We're going to have a tent set up at the Rockabilly Rumble this Sunday.
And
We'll be before the podcast airs.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Yeah, you can talk about it like, hey, Yeah.
So we'll be there.
That was a
that
fun
happened,
time.
and it
That
was
was
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
Rockabilly
Dude,
Road.
you guys at the
If you weren't there,
Rockabilly
you
Rumble?
missed out.
You guys killed it.
Those girls and their
Killed it.
pumps.
Free
You're
samples for
fantastic.
everybody.
And anything else going on? Any other things that we need to
Well,
plug here?
we've got the Brandywine Arts Festival.
Oh, yeah.
6th and the 7th will be there. And we've got a fundraiser down at the beach at the North Beach Bar in Dewey on September 13th. That one's going to be really amazing. And if you like us on Facebook, you'll see all the details of that. But we're booking some really good stuff.
All right, so like you on Facebook, friend request CB Delaware, and like
Yeah,
Cannabis
and-
Bureau of Delaware.
And I'd also like to basically talk about we've got a lawyer here in Delaware
All right.
that is representing anyone that gets caught with a possession,
Oh, great.
misdemeanor possession,
A misdemeanor, because that's, there's a difference.
Yes,
A misdemeanor. possession.
basically for free until
Wow. Pro bono.
we legalize.
Until it happens. And
Absolutely. His name is Tom Donovan.
Tom
Thomas
Donovan.
Donovan. He's at 424 State Street in Dover. His phone number is 302-566-5529.
Okay. Sounds great.
He has open office hours for anyone who's charged. You can just walk in on Friday 1 to 3.
All right. Look at that.
We also want to say that we have a petition out. It's on moveon.org, and we're also signing hard copies at our events and stuff like that. But
very
it's
cool.
for full taxation and regulation of cannabis.
And if you like our Facebook page, we repost it. Delaware Normal will have it posted too. So we definitely put those out so people can find it there.
Oh, very nice. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. Joel Wild, Zoe Patchell, the Cannabis Bureau of Delaware, thank you so much. When we return, we'll be talking about some Series 8 Doctor Who with Peter Capaldi, and Joe Trainor and Kerry Macaron will be joining us. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back to the Dorks and Forks audio podcast. Oh, man, I'm so pumped up. I am so excited. You guys want to know what I'm getting ready for? I'm getting ready for some Doctor Who. Now, I'm sitting here with pretty much an expert on Doctor Who, Mr. Steve Valerio, who, a Doctor Who enthusiast and the Duke of Cosplay. But some people don't know what cosplay is. Steve, what is cosplay?
Cosplay is
Yeah, because, earlier we had somebody on looking and at our website, and he was like, cosplay? I don't know what this is. It's cosplay you're referring to.
It's remember when you were like 7 or 8? And
Yes, that was the best time there ever was in the world.
Yeah, and you would tie like a bath towel around your neck and you go jump off your roof, pretending you were
That's
Batman.
cosplay.
Pretty much, yeah. Except we actually look like Batman.
Right, no, I mean,
And-
at its core.
Yeah.
That's
but-
cosplay.
And the majority of us try not to jump off of roofs unless they have the proper training in base jumping. I have seen people do that.
No, unless you're George Reeve, the original Superman on TV.
Right.
That's how I.
So
thought he was Superman.
you're known
Poor guy.
for your fourth Doctor.
As much as
Tom
by the
Baker.
15 people that know me, yes, I am known as the Fourth Doctor.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. And what else have you done?
I just did my Mace cosplay, which
Yeah.
is the male version of Ace, which is the Seventh Doctor's companion.
So now, yes, you did so Ace was, yes, the seventh Doctor's companion, Sylvester McCoy.
Ace was, yes.
Ace was, yeah,
yes.
yeah. But you do, and Ace was a
Dorothy Gale McShane.
correct female,
Yes.
like kind of punk rock English
Yes.
punk rock
Yes.
type kid who had an affinity for explosives.
Yeah,
pyrotechnics.
Nitro 9. She created
Nitro
her
9,
own
that's right.
explosive. 9
Which is
times more powerful than nitroglycerin.
Always very interesting when the Doctor always told her not to use it, and then
Yes.
the one time he said use
Well,
it.
no, I love that. That was pretty much all the time, though. It's like, hey, Ace, you know that Nitro 9 I told
Yeah.
you not to
Remember that
bring? How
time
much
I
have you
said
got?
don't use
Yeah.
this? Yes, Professor. She always called him Professor. Yes, Professor. You gotta use it now.
And she also beat up a baseball with a Dalek bat.
Beat up a Dalek with a
beat
baseball.
up a Dalek with a baseball bat,
That's a true
which
story.
it was souped up by the Doctor a little bit, but still, I mean,
It's a wicked baseball.
just to have the balls to go after,
Sure.
or I guess the
Ovaries. No, that's,
yeah, the
when I
ovaries
think
to
about
go
the
after.
term crossplay, there's a documentary which I'm a sucker for. I've seen it way too many times, both of them. But the first one, Trekkies, which is about those people, Trekkers, Trekkies. There's a gentleman within that that particular documentary, Trekkies, that does a crossplay of a character. I check it out. Check out Trekkies. You'll see it. But he also does something called, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is it called gelfing?
Gelfing?
Gelfling?
Did I make this up? No, not gelfling, because that makes me think of Red Dwarf stuff.
Looks like Gelfling.
No, like now I have to look this up. No, it's like
No,
it's,
You
it
have
sounds
wings.
familiar.
Of course,
you
I'm a girl.
You might have
Is
to
it-
give me the urban.
or maybe it's
dictionary on it.
filking. Maybe it's filking. That's what it is.
Filching?
No, not filching.
Felching?
That's a
Felching?
whole nother.
I was gonna say.
Filking. It's sci-fi folk singing. Filking. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
Gelfing, I don't know where that
I
came
have some friends who are in a band called the Roddenberries.
Yeah, so yeah.
Who are a Star Trek cover band.
Yeah.
Or a Star Trek
Filking.
team satire band.
No, but this guy is in Trekkies, right? And I'll find a link to it on YouTube, and we'll connect it to the podcast here. But they're talking to him, and here he is in full crossplay gear with like this horrible curly wig and lipstick, and he's not a skinny man, he's not a handsome man or woman, and he's in like this purple jumpsuit with like red lipstick, like mommy, I'm gonna be a pretty girl.
But
Crazy. And then he starts like singing this folk song that was from this one particular episode of Star Trek that he was basing this character
was it
on,
the
who
one with
only
the hippies?
existed. No,
Space hippies. Okay.
no. Oh, maybe it was. I think you're right, actually. But he starts singing this song. He's like, it's the funniest.
But-
Filking.
But here's my question though.
Filking.
Here's my question. Was he having fun?
Oh, of course, and that's what it's all about.
Exactly. That's
He-
the quirk. Because
He was having fun in a worrisome way to me.
What's that?
He was having fun in a worrisome way to me. Like, I worry about his mental health and well-being.
Well, is he hurting anybody?
Only
including him?
himself in the grand scheme of things.
Is he hurting
No,
himself? though?
physically, no. He's not physically hurt. And I'm on that train with a lot of things that you're saying. As long as they're not hurting anyone physically.
Sure.
Or emotionally, mentally, I guess, and,
Yeah.
not causing any scars, everything's A-okay.
Yeah, and I mean, people are going to his shows and digging what he's doing, right? Well, there you go.
So yeah, Doctor Who.
So Doctor Who Series 8's coming out.
You're very like morning show about this.
Well,
so tell
I mean,
us
we
about
have
your new project.
we have specific things that we need to.
I hear you're
get
coming to the
across here.
Chuckle Hut this Saturday.
Look, man, the way this interview's going, I feel like this is going to be an hour and a half podcast.
Well, hey,
all right.
whatever, however long people want to listen. So we tried to get this before.
All right, let's move it along.
Speaking of the master, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You saw the first.
Hey, I
episode.
could cut from that whole when you say that first time you say "speaking of the master" to now,
We said.
and we would get rid of like 20 minutes
20
of
minutes
show.
right there.
So
So,
just rambling.
all right, let's try it again. Ready?
That was gold. That was gold.
Speaking of the master,
Speaking of the matter, yes. Eric Roberts.
Eric Roberts is playing what? No, that's
They're bringing him back as the master.
Please, speaking of, we were talking about bad sibling replacements before. Eric Roberts or Julia Roberts. No, thank you.
Right.
.com. Of course, he was the master in the
the-
movie,
yes, the TV movie.
the failed American pilot, if you will.
Yeah. It's got its charm.
It does have its charm in a lot of weird ways. And of course, the master most recently played by both Derek Jacobi and, oh my God,
John Sim.
thank you, John Sim. And then now
Very
there's
interesting
the
take.
plausibility, very different take, John Sim.
But I didn't dislike it. I liked
No,
it.
not
But
at all.
It was different. Very
So
different.
now there's in Series 8 with our new doctor, Peter Capaldi. Now there's the plausible return of the Master, and who may or may not be in the guise of a new companion, Danny Pink, who we do or don't meet in Deep Breath.
We do not meet him in Deep Breath.
Okay.
No, we do not meet him in Deep Breath.
Which is the first episode, of course, of Series 8. We do, however, get to see some old friends in the Doctor Who world. Of course,
Yep,
Madame
the Pat-
Vastra and Jenny,
Yes, the Paternoster gang is back.
which are some of my favorite people on the
So
series.
I'm sorry,
Well,
Butt Gang.
The Paternoster gang.
Paternoster
Yes, the
gang.
Paternoster gang. Kind of, loosely, name-wise based on like the Baker Street Irregulars or that type of thing. It's Madame Vastra, Strax, and Jenny.
Strax, which is, I mean, he's
As
just
Sontaran,
hilarious.
he's funny. Here's my thing. Here's my
Here's
thing
my
with
thing with
here's my thing with the Paternosters in general. I like them, but they're coming back all the time, and they're pretty much just comic relief. And we don't
always need it.
and we don't know who they are. We don't know where they come from. We've got no backstory.
No, and here's my
all
thing,
we
Vastra-
all we know is they were kind.
Right, Vastra kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And at first, when I first saw her, I was like, wait a second,
I
if she
thought she
left
was-
over from that, the one episode, what's, oh my
I'm
god,
terrible with names, but it's the one with the Silurians.
it's the when Rory's there.
Yeah,
and
Rory's
blah.
there, and then Rory never.
We're gonna get raped for not knowing the names of these episodes right now.
Names. Shit.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I mean, if you
card,
know,
I'm usually
if
really
you know
good.
what we're
The Hungry
Earth. Thank you.
It was a two-parter though.
Yes.
But yeah, the Hungry Earth. That one.
So I thought when I first saw her, I was like, oh, that's that broad. No,
Not
totally
her at all. It's
separate Silurian from somewhere else
She was
that was
kind.
kind to the Doctor once, which is fine. Kindness is, the best superpower in the world.
It is wonderful, but it's not enough for me to care.
Right.
So-
and then her lesbian counterpart,
Yes, which
they have
I
a very.
love. I
They've
mean, I
always
love
been
that whole
open
story,
about
yeah.
different relationships and
But my-
omnisexual type things.
My biggest problem with the Paternoster gang, though, is Strax. As funny as he is, I loved him the first time I saw him.
Because
But
he's not your
he's-
traditional.
Yeah, he's a Suntarn. He's a member of.
But he's a
proud
nurse.
warrior race. As punishment.
right.
Well, that's probably about all the Doctor Who talk our audience can take. When we return, we'll still be here with Steve Valerio, Dan Sanchez, myself, Brian Wild, and we'll also have Joe Trainor and Kerry McElroon in the studio. We'll see you soon. Popson. Well, anyway, hey, welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. We have some guests in the studio that we're very excited about. We have Mr. Joe Trainor himself, and we have Kerry McElroon. Kerry McElroon. We were just discussing. We were discussing during break how exactly to discuss how to pronounce your last name. I apologize. So there we are, Kerry. And I come to find out I couldn't even pronounce your first name. I think it's just a Delaware accent.
Can you do Christine?
Christine McElroon.
I did a Christine.
very nice.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
Well, that's what your
Keep
Facebook.
coming
I mean,
back to that.
Say it with an Irish accent. You'll be in good shape.
hi, it's Kerry McElroon. There you go. Hi, Kerry. Kerry McElroon.
How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm alright.
I have a. Speaking of Irish, what we made here today. We made my Irish nachos.
That's
a
right.
Good segue. Good lead.
That's right. The theme of our show, of course, today being football snacks. Sunday football, getting together with the guys. Last second. Hey, man.
And one girl.
And a chickie.
There's always that one girl.
There's always that one lesbian. I mean, there's that one girl that is really into football.
Yeah.
Like the guy's girl.
Right.
Yeah, but the concept was like, if you were to go to a Sunday football soiree, if you will, what would you bring? What would you take?
Besides booze, besides beer.
Well, yeah, you always need a beer.
So,
Right.
Chips.
for our Sunday
sixer?
football soiree, now that everybody
And
has their
chips.
damn napkins, what we've prepared are some last minute things that I would do, because I'm a last minute guy.
Sure.
And some deliciousness that Brian has here. Brian, you want to go first?
Well, this is my thing. We're doing Yards Philadelphia Pale Ale.
Oh yeah,
Right.
for our
So-
beer.
So, and now, mind you, after the show comes out, we'll actually have posts on our Facebook at facebook.com/Dorks and Forks and our website dorksandforks.com. But the recipes of what we made today, so you could try it at home. You could even try to make it better. I'm sure that's not too hard, and you could kind of post what you do on our website. But here we go. Yards Pale Ale. We picked this because it's low ABV. Basically, if this is what you bring to the party and you could drink it all day. It's hoppy, but it's not overly hoppy. And you won't be sloshed by halftime. So that's why we picked this, right? And there'll be a better review on our website.
I'm pretty sure I could not drink it all day.
Well, you're not really a drinker.
I'm just saying half a bottle, and I'm pretty much done, I think.
Really, you're a lightweight.
He's that guy.
You're a lightweight like that. Half a beer and you're piano man. I bet it's pretty amazing. You a little drunk. Do you just find a piano and just play?
I'd stay away from the piano.
You're like, sing me a song, piano
Don't
man.
go there. Don't go there.
So anyway, yeah, I made these little Irish nachos, right? What makes an Irish nacho?
What makes an Irish nacho? What makes a nacho Irish?
Well, I think they're better if they're warm.
Oh, burn or lack thereof.
Oh, boy.
They're good. They're just a little.
I mean, what am I going to do? Like,
old
keep them in the
side.
oven? You know how hot it was with the oven going? Cooking these things? It was hot.
Dude, it was hot in this house.
The studio. I'm
Studio,
sorry,
pardon
the
me.
Van Buren
Like
Street
like
studio.
a chafing dish.
A
Is
cha-
that what
yeah,
it's
a
called?
little-
a
a little-
chafing
something
dish
with
with a little
Yeah, with a
candle.
little
sterno
sterno
underneath. Yeah.
Hey, look, this is why this is the pilot episode. We're working out all those kinks, and you guys are guinea pigs. All right, this is great.
Or you just leave it in the oven on low till your guests get here.
Oh.
Or you just spit beer all over yourself like I just did. That's all. It
That
was
re-
that good.
That doesn't do much for the nachos warmth. Though.
Not at all.
Oh boy, we'll figure it out.
So the recipe for the Irish nachos.
I mean, look, this has been a long podcast.
It's been
all right?
already.
I mean, we're like almost an hour into this thing. No wonder the fries are cold. How do I
I've
keep
been here
fries
for
cold?
3 days already.
I mean,
I got here on Monday.
Hey, Steve and his little guy on his shoulder here. They're just tired out.
yeah. What is that? It's like a little.
It's a drabbit, but I hate that term, so I call him a dragon.
Interesting.
But he's actually kind of a griffin if you look at him up close. So it's very confusing. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I picked him up at the PA Ren Fair. I like puppets. I was running late this morning when I ran out of my house, so I grabbed this guy instead of my actual good puppet, which is Mr. Smith, who cosplays Matt Smith.
Yeah.
The 11th Doctor.
I mean, that's another level of cosplay,
Puppet.
Oh, wait.
puppet dorkdom.
I
Like,
have to ask, did you go to the Ren Fair dressed as number 4?
Not this year. This year, I actually made a male ace costume, which I have dubbed Mace.
Mace.
Yes.
Mace.
Ace, of course,
Because
the
you can
companion.
go as Doctor Who because he would show up at...
It's time
he
travel.
could be
Yeah,
anywhere.
Absolutely,
Right.
there were
That's
a lot of 3 4s, several 10s, a couple of 11s. Yeah, there were a lot of doctors.
And we're not
running around.
just talking about the ladies.
Hey-o!
Definitely a lot of 4s there, for sure.
I would say mostly 10s, to be honest.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, you get those, nerdy hot girls that just... Never mind, I'm not going to go there. I'm just
Wait,
gonna...
wait, no 12s?
No, not this year, not yet.
Yeah, I can't wait for that cosplay. Black coat, red.
You got to have the
lining.
eyebrows for it, though. It's
Yeah.
it's all in the eyebrows.
Capaldi.
Capaldi.
Right, and you gotta have the inner liner of the coat.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
the red inner liner.
It's
The
beautiful.
very
Doc Martens.
the Pertwee-esque lining.
You know, I didn't want to bring Tom Hardy up in my very first podcast, but he had. If you ever saw the movie Bronson, right, he had that black suit with that red kind of.
I've never
lining.
seen that movie before.
You never saw Tom Hardy Bronson? It's the first movie I ever saw him in, and it's.
Ever in your life?
Is it like a biopic about Charles Bronson? Or?
No. It's actually about the movie's about the most violent.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce
Oh,
Brosnan.
oh, oh, okay.
I'm
Also
Pierce
Irish,
Brosnan.
see?
I'm Pierce
Oh,
Brosnan.
coming back.
So, it's about the most violent prisoner in the UK's history, right? And Tom Hardy plays him. It's a mix between like Clockwork Orange, one of those kind of treatment movies. It's just very like art. It's beautiful. Soundtrack is amazing.
Interesting.
Cinematography amazing. It's the first time I ever saw Tom Hardy was in that movie.
When did that come out?
Well, Dan, why don't you look that up?
Oh yeah, Brian. That's I don't know.
In the
Damn,
meantime, at the risk of getting kicked out of the podcast, who's Tom Hardy?
Oh.
So he was Bane in Batman.
Hello, Gotham. City of Gotham. I have a bunch of marbles in my mouth.
For you.
2008. Bronson.
Yeah, 2008. That was the first time. It was always on my Netflix. It would always pop up on Netflix, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. But one day I watched it, and it was the first time I ever saw Tom Hardy, and then the rest is history. So we're getting off topic. Joe, you've been known for doing these incredible tribute shows all around the city. Which one has been your favorite?
The Billy Joel show was pretty cool. As a piano player, I avoided it for years because to me it seemed obvious. But I got to a point where I was like, I can do it now.
Yeah.
Because I got to do it the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was just, I was blown away. I sat in my seat, just rocking out the whole time, singing along, and it was phenomenal. The energy in the room was
Yeah, that's what I think was so cool.
amazing.
Because it was huge. It was a big show with a lot of people in it. A lot of instruments, a lot of vocalists.
I think my favorite was Zeppelin at the Art and Fair, Shady Grove.
The trio has done Led Zeppelin 2, Abbey Road, and the Billy Joel night.
Yeah.
And with In the Light, which is a tribute group that I work with, we've done Physical Graffiti. We did an Evening of Queen, which was probably one of the most satisfying because putting together a Queen show is an unbelievably challenging thing. Because you have a 30-piece choir and an 8-piece band.
Wow.
But this Beatles show, and then we did an Evening of the Who this year, which was fun. But and now we're putting together this Beatles show. But the first tribute I ever did was actually 10 years ago yesterday when we did Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Oh, yeah. Downstate.
No, we did.
Oh, no, that's right. It was at the Drama League. But you did end up doing it at the Everett at one point, correct?
Yeah, a year later.
Sure. Okay.
And Kerry, like, I know you from, like, you do a lot of city theater. Is it?
Yes, as I'm crunching my chips. I was told not to crunch near the mic, Brian. Yeah, City Theater. I'm the marketing and creative director for City Theater Company, which is right here in Wilmington. Yeah. And I act and do costumes as well.
Oh, very cool.
Great production of
somebody here.
Gypsy.
Yeah,
that Kerry
Gypsy.
was part of and starred in, and Joe music directed, actually.
Yeah.
And very different type of take on it, and I was riveted the entire time.
Thank you.
It was a very in-your-face kind of version of Gypsy. And,
Yeah, it was stripped down. It was all about the idea of the show, creating theater in a space that creates theater, and that's kind of what we do. We don't have a lot of money. We work on a shoestring.
Sure.
And we also believe that theater should be immediate and accessible and in your face. So.
No, I dug it. There was definitely, some of the older crowd was walking out of there, and they're like, I'm not quite sure what just happened.
Where were the big lights?
She was so close to me.
I saw her nipples.
Yeah. So that was, but I thought it was great. It was very, very well thought out.
Were you Batman?
I was Batman. I had bat nipples on, which is a lot of the older people didn't get that choice, but,
It happens. It happens.
I was feeling it.
So, since City Theater does run on such a small budget, well, I got involved with them probably just over 10 years ago. And in the last few years, I was like, well, what can I do to help raise money for them? So, in 2010, we did Abbey Road to raise some money. And then we waited a couple years, we did the Billy Joel show. But last year, we did all of Jesus Christ Superstar, top to bottom.
Jesus Christ Superstar.
In concert. So, and then...
Did I know about this?
No, I don't think you did.
We had like 12...
One night.
We had 12 guest singers come in, a solid band, and 12 guest singers. So we're using that format for the Beatles show. We're using 17 singers.
18. Wow. No.
18 singers.
Wow.
A 6-piece band, a 7-piece horn section, and a string quartet.
I mean, how do you fit all the egos in one room?
Well,
You check them. You check them at the door.
there you go.
And you spit.
And you spit food on the microphone. No, I mean that's phenomenal. That's unreal. And when is this occurring?
October 3rd, right? October 3rd at World Cafe Live at the Queen downstairs. It's going to be a huge show.
Oh, on the big stage.
Yeah, on the big stage.
Fantastic.
You can't fit all those people on the tiny stage.
No,
That's a really great venue, too.
Yeah, it's beautiful there.
Yeah, Steve used to do lighting.
I did indeed.
Oh, Steve, wait, I used to work at the box office there.
Really?
Yeah.
How did you guys not meet and become
did
best
we-
friends before tonight?
OMG!
we were like
I
ships
noticed,
passing in the night.
Joe's been really liking your guacamole there.
Joe's going to town on the guacamole,
The
it seems.
guacamole
So
is
one of mine,
delicious.
going back to the food deal here, I'm, like I was saying earlier, I'm a last-minute guy, so if somebody's like, hey, man, come over and watch the game, it's like, all right, I'll bring something if I have money to bring something. But I'm like, I'll bring something, and guacamole is a quick and easy thing that I can do.
So who made the guacamole?
So I made the guacamole. Really easy. I do
it doesn't have to be warm. That's
I
right.
do
Yes,
the
it's
chunky.
delicious, and temperature is not a factor.
I'm a big fan of the chunky guacamole, and not a lot of people are privy or accustomed to that. They like the guacamole that looks like my daughter's dirty diaper, and I'm not a fan of that. So
The mush.
she eats a lot of neon green things. Joe, you gave me a face.
Asparagus.
So
It tastes
a lot
delicious.
of oops all berries.
what's that?
Oops all berries. That will.
All berries.
Yeah. No, I found out the hard way. It kind of frightened me that will change the color.
That will definitely change the color of a child's BM.
And in adults.
And in adults,
You know-
depending on, just like, pineapple juice will change the flavor of a man's, seminal fluids,
Brian
right, Kerry?
has lost control.
I've heard.
Of the podcast.
Hey,
Actually, I
Brian.
was about to chime in about my kids' dirty diapers.
Yeah.
You know,
Not that my guacamole tastes
We
like
are
dirty
eating,
diapers.
so maybe.
This is a food show.
yeah.
When somebody calls me up last minute and says, hey, we're having a party, what I usually bring is anything from the Acme.
There you go.
Yeah, Acme.
Which is actually
in Trolley Square.
where I got all my ingredients from is the Acme in Trolley Square.
Yeah,
It's just
you
a
know,
hop, skip, and
I
jump
went to
from
the
here.
Pathmark in Newcastle.
I'm so sorry.
today because I had to go on lunch break because I was trying to get this all going, right? And it was, their selection didn't suck. I mean, the prices were fine.
You should have gone to the farmer's market.
Cool Springs Farmers
Dude,
Market.
I had
Yep.
30 minutes to go into a grocery store, buy.
And the farmer's market only has specific hours.
And look, and it
That's
was
true. 4 o'clock, 4 to 8.
and it was a it was a foreign shopping supermarket, which is like going into like a labyrinth. You have no idea. You walk in because you know what you have. Like
but I feel
at
like
the Russian Acme. Right?
I feel like a lot of those stores, the ShopRites, the Pathmarks of the world, have no rhyme or reason to them in terms of their layout. It's like, here's what we got. Good luck.
Every man for himself.
Because they're all different size and they're all built at different times.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, they are.
We love the ShopRite on the waterfront, but it is. We go in there and
I love how they have a breakfast buffet.
it's too
All
much.
day.
It is an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, it's overwhelming.
And you would think for that location, I mean, they're really banking on the riverfront, like Justice and
No, I know exactly who shops at that ShopRite. It's the hookers and the strippers that work at Hacks.
No.
They're just walking on their
Gotta
break,
shop somewhere.
coming on down,
No
bringing
wonder-
their bags back.
I always wondered
getting
why
their
the
cigarettes.
glitter aisle was so big. So Joe, like, what's going on in the future? What's going on?
Well, the trio's got some shows before the end of the year. We're working on an album, but really, I'm buried in this Beatles show, and it's really taking up a lot of my time.
Yeah, I'm buried in this pod.
Joe, this would be your second album, your third album. I have one of them.
The trio released its first album in 2009. It's called Drive, and then we released
That's
another
the one
one
I have.
in 2012 called 12 Stories. And we're working. I really wanted to get it out in 14, but it looks like it'll be early 15.
That's fine.
So whatever. But in November we are doing a big show. We got 2 big shows in November. Also at World Cafe Live because it's the only place really big enough to do shows like this.
Right.
In Wilmington. We're going to be upstairs for our 7th anniversary show.
Wow.
So the trio formed in November of 2007. So we figure a lot of bands don't make it to 7 years, so we're going to celebrate.
Yeah, nice.
And then 2 weeks later, we're making an appearance at the Wilmore Rock Circus, which is like the biggest independent music festival in town. It's going to be 20-plus bands in one day.
Wow. Tell you what, I mean, Joe, you kind of said you might play us a little tune.
Yeah, maybe.
But wait, real quick before we get to that, there's one more piece of food that we didn't talk about yet. Even though, and we've kind of just skimmed over all of them. We have the Irish nachos that Brian, of course, you made. The guacamole with only a few ingredients that I
There's
made.
also dip.
And there's also my favorite quick and easy thing to make when you're running out. It's 3 ingredients, and it's just a spinach dip. It's a 16-ounce thing of sour cream, can of spinach drained, and a dip pack of Hidden Valley Ranch.
It's pretty banging.
It's pretty good, right? That's a Mama Sanchez special from back in the day.
I slaved for 30 minutes over the stove for those nachos.
I did 2
I
things.
get nothing.
Yeah.
You should have made spinach dip.
They're good. They're just cold.
Yeah. I tell you, the gratitude. Well, before you guys play for us, is there any websites you'd like to let people know about where they could find you, some more information online?
The City Theater website is www.city-theater with an ER, not TRE. THEATER. ER. .org.
No, because it's this is how I delineate the building versus the craft or the company. Yes. Yeah. So
and tickets are available at World Cafe Live website. You can go there.
And when is that show?
October 3rd. It's a Friday night.
World Cafe Live.
October 3rd.
Awesome, man. I'm so excited. When we come back, in studio, Joe Trainor, Kerry McElroy.
Kerry McElroy.
Can we just give it?
Say so.
Kerry McElroy.
Kerry.
Kerry, Christine, Macaron.
Just think of County Kerry.
That's such a good last.
Can we river dance later?
We could river dance.
Let's river dance now.
No. We're gonna call.
We have to wait a half hour. It's like 20 minutes.
Oh, right.
When we come back,
that was the bagpipe
musical
version of
treat.
the Mexican hat dance I just did.
we'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Trainor and Kerry McElroy.
The long and winding road that leads to your door will never disappear. I've seen that road before. It always leads me here. me know the way. Many times I've been alone, and many times I've cried. Anyway, you'll never know the many ways I've tried, but still they lead me back to the long winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Don't leave me waiting here. Lead me to your door. But still they lead me back to the long winding road. You left me standing here a long, long time ago. Don't leave me waiting here. Lead me to your door. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, that's it for our show, our very first podcast, dorksandforks.com.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Steve was great. Everybody was great.
thanks.
Steve, Zoe, my brother Joel. We had Joe Trainor. We had Kerry. Kerry, everything.
I think that's
went really
everything.
well.
Me and you, of course.
Yeah, Brian Wild.
We also had
Dan
Kerry
Sanchez.
as well as Kerry.
Kerry.
Curry.
We're gonna
I'm
figure
not
out how to
saying
say her
Curry.
name one time. Kerry.
No, not Curry. Kerry.
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 Like
Why are we
county,
even
like
still
county
going on about
Kerry
this?
in Ireland.
The County Corpse.
Like the county Kerry.
Yes,
I'm saying it right.
you had it that time. Yes,
Kerry.
there you go.
Kerry.
Now you've got it.
Jello.
What?
So make sure, please, you check us out, of course, on our website, dorksandforks.com. Follow us on Twitter at Dorks and Forks. For Tumblr, we're going to have a new blog coming out, so it's Dorks and Forks blog on Tumblr. And, of course, on Facebook at facebook.com/Dorks and Forks. Like us, share us, check us out. This is airing right now in your home, in your ears.
Yeah.
So,
Anytime you want it.
Anywhere you want it, that's the way you need it.
Great. I'm Brian Wild.
I'm Dan Sanchez.
And that's been Dorks and Forks. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
More calling Orson. Come in, Orson. More calling Orson. Come in, Orson. More calling Orson. Come in, Orson.
You're lucky to catch me in, Mork. You're calling at the wrong time.
That figures, sir. I can't seem to do anything right recently. That's why I wanted to come home, Orson.
Why? I thought you liked it down there.
No, sir. I don't seem to fit in very well. Seems that no matter how hard I try, I keep lousing up the lives of the people I care for. I've got to come home, sir. I'm pig slop.
I want you to stay there and keep sending back those reports about Earth behavior.
It's no use, sir. I've goofed up the entire year I've been here, and I want to leave before I cause serious damage to someone's life. I'm worm sweat.
I think you're being a little hard on yourself, Mork.
Oh, not at all, sir. It's just that I'm bean dip and I've got to come home.
Well, perhaps. But let's make sure. If you don't mind submitting yourself to the plasmic essence reversifier.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, sir. I'd love it. What is it?
A newly developed process which will enable you to see what paths your friends would have taken the past year had you not come into their lives.
I know what that'd be. They'd be better off without me.
dorksandforks.com